Hey guys, how you doing today? Oh wow, just got off on a crazy shift, man. Black Friday. Black Friday. People are not messing around on Black Friday. We're of course in a lockdown situation, so it's no one's allowed in the store. I'll be honest, I miss it. I miss it. I miss it a great deal. I do wish that there were people in that store. I do wish that there were people in that store coming in, buying stuff that I could talk to, that I could interact with. The system's working. We've essentially turned ourselves into an Amazon warehouse. Like, really. Whoops. And I'm still messing around with this phone. I'm still figuring out how to hold it so that I don't dump it on the floor. The what's newsworthy today, guys? I mean, today was a real reminder to me why I don't celebrate Christmas. You think that's crazy, John? You're a toy retailer, right? Shouldn't you, of all people, celebrate the Christmas season? No. Christmas is a work period for me. It's not a relaxed thing. Merry Christmas, all that kind of stuff, right? When you say Merry Christmas to a toy retailer, the toy retailer is responding Merry Christmas because it is his obligation and his duty to do so, because he's a good businessman. He's not, I don't celebrate Christmas. I don't, yeah, here, let's talk about Christmas. Let's talk about Christmas. I think Christmas is the phoniest holiday that exists. It used to be a Christian holiday. The pretend fake Christians, who are actually capitalists, with this sort of Christian veneer layered upon them, the fake Christians who celebrate this fake holiday refuse to acknowledge that Christmas is essentially a capitalist holiday, right? Like, what it is it's this weird little holiday where all of the pressure of the fact that you haven't actually hung out with your friends or family, right, for a whole year, right? It's this holiday where you're all supposed to get together with your family and spend Christmas together as a family, right? With those you love. You got the little sleigh bells sound, even though nobody actually has any sleigh bells in their lives at all. Like, you got these little jingle things, you know. Nobody's... Hold on, my phone's doing something, asking me to do something. All right, I don't understand technology at all. Yeah, it's like you got all these jingles, all these like lights that are everywhere, right? It just is the gaudiest looking shit, right? You walk by somebody's house and it's just like laced with these like lights. Like, sometimes it's okay, like you get some like cool blues or all this kind of stuff, but the traditional sort of Christmas look, it's just like, it's like something a 5-year-old would come up with. Like these fake plastic snowmen, all this stuff, all the blown up stuff. Like Christmas, especially when you compare it to Halloween, which is a badass baller holiday, right? Where cool stuff happens. Like Christmas comes along and it's just like this dorky dweeb period where everything is like, let's burn a bunch of fossil fuels, lighting up the place with shitty lights that make everything look stupid. And like, it used to be this Christian holiday, right? It used to be the idea, like, we're going to pause and contemplate on Christ and on his birth, and all the music is geared that way. But it's so bullshit. It's total bullshit, right? It's not a Christian holiday. It's a capitalist holiday because they have funneled all of their energy and towards kind of guilting you in a way. This is the thing that's insane about Christmas, right? Is that people come into my store all the time and they're buying gifts, and what they're attempting to do is they're attempting to replace the time that they lost with their family with an object, right? That's 100% what they're attempting to do. That they haven't been able to spend any time with their family. They haven't been able to spend any time with their kids because their kids spend the majority of their time in school and the adults spend the majority of time at work, right? And you don't actually get to see anybody anymore. And so here comes this holiday where you're supposed to buy gifts for one another. Like, what a grift. Like, we're the ones responsible for wasting all your time. And then at the end of the year, you have to pay us back to get a little object to apologize to your family for your absence. This is not something we should be celebrating, right? This is not something that we should be looking at and going like sure, spend some time with your family, right? No one's gonna blame you for that. No one's gonna sit there and be a total asshole and be like, oh, your family, blah, blah, bullshit. But like, if you actually want to spend more time with your family, you should stand against capitalism, right? You should look at capitalism and be like, this is a system of death that's designed to destroy us and extract our labor in exchange for our survival. And the holiday, this Christmas holiday, is total bullshit. Like, if we all just got together and boycotted Christmas, that'd be the end of corporate capitalism. It would simply die as a system. But we're very gullible. We're easy to manipulate as a people, so we just go along with this ridiculous idea that, oh, let's buy our kids some fossil-fueled plastic that they'll play with for 30 seconds before throwing in the bin or shove into the corner, right? Like, I take, like, LOL dolls, dude. If you don't know what LOL dolls are, just Google them. I'm not going to describe them. They're just they're an ecological disaster. The little girls that are being given LOL dolls now, when they realize what fossil fuels are, and when they like are told about the narrative of our own destruction and our own death, they're going to look at those LOL dolls and they're going to despise their families for it. Like, it's just like, you know, Merry Christmas, sweetie, here's a little poison. Like, oh my god. What travesty. And the, alright, moving on for Christmas, man. Christmas is such a... No, I can't move on from Christmas. I feel like the whole video needs to be about Christmas now. Oh, Christ. And I get called Scrooge. This is what's hilarious. I get called a Scrooge for my views. I don't celebrate Christmas, so I'm a Scrooge. Grr. And I'm like, so I'm a Scrooge because I want people to have more time off and more money, and I don't want them to be in the thrall of a capitalist system that's designed to destroy them. Sounds to me like I'm exactly the opposite of a Scrooge, because Scrooge wanted people to continue working over Christmas, if you'll recall, right? He wanted to ensure that everybody kept working and kept making him money. Like, the propaganda, especially around Christmas, is tight. It's tight, and and it has to be, right? Christmas is like an enormous money-making moment for capitalism. Like, just went through Black Friday, right? And it's so-called Black Friday because this is the moment when retailers enter the black, right? When they actually make money for the year, right? Like, this is how thin the market... And of course, that's such fucking bullshit, if you ask me. I don't buy this for a minute. That to me sounds like another capitalist grift. I haven't actually looked into it that closely, but it sounds to me like that's a complete capitalist grift. That like, oh yes, just now, right at the end of November, the last... like, what the hell kind of old-timey bullshit is this? Like, it's some kind of like mom and pop shop where they're like running like just like a little like a coffee shop or something, and they're like, oh yeah, it's very tight, it's tight living, and this kind of fucking bullshit I heard all the time from rural farmers. These rural farmers driving around in like a brand new Dodge Ram in an enormous mansion house, complaining about how tight everything is financially, and I'm just like, you're so full of shit. That's all it is. It's just these guys being like, oh yeah, you know, things are tough, things are tight. Because if they know that if you're walking around saying things are tough, things are tight, nobody's going to ask you for anything, right? That if you start saying things like, maybe we should help people through a modest increase in taxation on the most wealthy, they'll be like, oh, so things are so tight as they are, right? And meanwhile, they're carrying home like hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Black Friday? What a grift. What a fucking grift. Oh yeah, it turns out that, oh yeah, we put on all these deals to attract the majority of people right before a major holiday, right? It's just the hype train, and people just eat it up. They're so gullible. People are so gullible. Oh yeah, we don't make any money until November. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, sure, maybe like mom and pop. Okay, yeah, sure. The little mom and pop shop that's getting chased out because they're getting shut down while Walmart gets to keep their doors open. Sure, I bet those rules apply. But for these like multi-million-dollar corporations, like these corporations that are making $1 billion a year, no, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. And if you, I just think you're a dupe. Well, I say that all the time. I think we're largely dupes. Like, most of us are dupes. We just keep going along with this system that is obviously geared to destroy us. Uh, and we just keep bobbing our head and just going like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the prime minister, he came to the climate change rally. He must really care about climate change. Yeah, he came. Yeah. Fucking guy can literally write laws and, like, change the way that we do business tomorrow if he wanted to. He could write a law and just be like, and send it out. Right? It's like when the liberals voted down that wealth tax, right? Their whole thing, I saw a letter. They were like, the NDP had just incorrectly done this and that and all this kind of stuff. And immediately I was like, so where's your bill then? Right? If the NDP did it wrong, right, but you fundamentally agree with them, then where's your bill? Huh? Where's your bill that you did right? Oh, you don't have one? Interesting. So it's just bullshit. And like this is what we live in these days, though, and we're all just supposed to be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, you just go to work and you just do your work, and if you're a good person, good things will happen to you. Yeah, fuck. And the left's not much more innocent of this, right? Like the left is like recent, just today, Jagmeet Singh and Alexandria Cortez. I can never remember. AOC. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. I can never remember her actual name because it's got this like beautiful cadence and this kind of thing, and I can never remember it. So I feel embarrassed every time I want to bring her up, even though she's like this sort of progressive icon at this point. Anyway, Jagmeet Singh and AOC do a video game online, a popular one right now amongst the kids called Among Us. What ridiculous nonsense that is. But that's fine. I think ridiculous nonsense is fine. And I don't know, there's something charming about it and all that kind of stuff, but it's propaganda, right? And what bugs me, I think what ultimately bugs me about it is that it's, like I am, like, here I would say that I am a propagandist. I am a propagandist that is agitating against the system of death. And I'm upfront about it, and I don't pretend like I'm anything but. But I just think that when you're doing propaganda, and you're trying to pretend like it isn't, like, oh yeah, we're just two major world leaders in opposition positions, just coming together, play a video game together casually, and stream it over the world, right? Like, I don't know. It's so obviously propaganda. Like, it's so obvious that that's what it is. And there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. Like, I'm not trying to be a curmudgeon or a Scrooge. But I just, it just kind of saddens my heart that this is where we're at, where the opposition to the system of death is people playing video games in order to attract people to their cause. Like, and what's fucking embarrassing is that it probably works. Like, it probably works. Like you guys, if you listen to any of my stuff, like, we should be out on the streets. We should be out on the streets. We should have a full-scale general strike. The systems of power should have their structure surrounded. The people who are in power should not be allowed to enter those buildings or leave those buildings. We should cause them as many problems as we possibly could. Here in Toronto, the 401 highway that runs through Toronto is the #1 traveled highway in North America. We should send 1,000 people. We should get 1,000 people, and we should stand at the corner of the 401 and the 400, and we should shut it down. Period. We should just shut it down. And anybody who wants to get through there, too bad. Too bad. And we should just continue shutting down major infrastructure centers. We should just continue shutting down major systems. Like, we are literally sacrificing our lives for a system that is going to murder us, and that is designed to murder us and abandon us as it's doing. Just look at the States. It's obviously abandoning its citizens. It doesn't give a fuck at all. At fucking all. And we're all supposed to just sort of bob our heads along and go along with it. Oh, better show up at 9 a.m. in the middle of a pandemic. You know, what the fuck are you talking about? We've just collectively lost our minds. Like, we've just collectively lost our minds. And it's really, really obvious to me every day at the toy store that parents are just like, my kids are gonna have Christmas. They're gonna have Christmas. And I don't think there's anything intrinsically wrong with that. I think people like Christmas for various reasons. But it is just a kind of delusional madness where we are sacrificing everything we have and everything we are, so that our kids can go, yay, for 30 seconds, so that we can sit in a room with children opening presents with a tree and not feel weird about the amount of extreme sacrifice that we are putting in for this fleeting and forgettable moment. And we don't contemplate for any amount of time whatsoever that if all we did was sacrificed less to capitalism and told the 10 beneficiaries of this system to earn slightly less money, that we would by default be able to spend more time with our families, that we would have more money for our families, we would have more to give to our friends and to our families if we gave even fractionally less to this system that betrays every single person who interacts with it. There's just this sort of mania surrounding Christmas. And here in the West, it's obvious. Like, it's like Doug Ford getting to a lockdown here in Toronto was like pulling teeth. It was like pulling fucking teeth. The entire medical community needed to go against him to get the most rational shit done. And it's 100% because of this mania for Christmas. In some of his speeches, Doug Ford has been saying, like, we're not canceling Christmas. Like, it's a major concern for people. This Christian holiday we no longer truly celebrate. It's literally shuffle $50 amongst each other day. Like, that's when, like, my family really we stopped exchanging gifts once we kind of realized that's what we were doing. They were just basically taking a $50 bill and just sort of shuffling amongst one another. And just like realizing like, oh yeah, I could have just gone to the store and gotten this for $50. I wanted it. You know, it's nice that I said at one point to my brother or sister, like, oh, hey, you know, $50 for this thing. And they went and got it, I guess. Like, the whole thing seems so forced and phony and fake. And it is different for children. It's different for children. right? Children live in this sort of state of awe and wonder, right? And we keep them sheltered from the reality of our system for as long as we can. Far too long, if you ask me. Far too long, if you ask me. And we don't actually, and we're trying so hard to apologize to them, and we're trying so hard to actually deliver on a hype, on a fantasy. Like the Santa story itself is like, it is a lie, right? It's this collective lie that we all pretend is harmless. Like, we all pretend as though the Santa lie is harmless. But we're actively deceiving children in order to hype them up for an event which culminates with gifts from families and then this non-existent wizard. And we pretend as though hyping up our children and like we're using our children as an engine for this holiday that that's like insane to me. Like when you step outside of it, the insanity of the holiday is what kills me the most. And everyone is enthralled by it. We're all just entranced by it. Oh well, 'tis the season. I hear my little dog barking in there. I gotta go take care of him. Tough day for him today. When I work into the evening like this, it's tough for him. Okay, guys. I love you all. Good luck out there. I hope you're all doing well. Buy something for Christmas for somebody. I don't give a shit, but I just don't think we need to pretend like Christmas is like it's a capitalist holiday. It's a capitalist holiday. And it's not even a holiday, really. Like, it's become this sort of obligation, this capitalist obligation that we must participate in, lest we be perceived as a downer or dour or a Scrooge in an inverted form of logic. And yet like if we put half the energy into a single Christmas towards resolving a climate change crisis as we do towards Christmas, like if we put even half that amount of energy, we would resolve it. Like, this is the level of mania that I'm talking about. Okay. All right, guys, I am going to close this out. Good luck out there. Have fun. I hope things go well for you. Bye-bye.